Hello, everybody. It's Grandpa on Coffee Time with Grandpa. I am Grandpa, and I'm so glad you have joined me today in Sunday's video. Today is Sunday, and it's a very holy day, and I have always liked this day above all days during the week. Today, I want to welcome everybody. If you're new to my channel, leave a like and subscribe and post a comment if you want. Ask me any questions. My life is open. Uh, I will try to answer anybody that leaves prayers requests. So just make sure that you subscribe so you get the updates from my channel. I am so thankful you're here and you found my channel. It just makes me so happy to produce these videos for you. Uh, I have received a great many good comments, and I appreciate every comment that I get, whether it's negative or positive. It doesn't make any difference to me. I try to answer everybody with my honest opinions and my wisdoms I've accumulated over my 73 years of life. Now, today, we're going to be talking about top things to do before uh, spring gets here in your garden, how to prepare for your spring gardens, and what to look out for this year. Of course, you all know I live in Nebraska, and it's been really super warm. It's been 20 to 30 degrees above normal here with no rain in sight. So we are in a major drought in the western part of Nebraska where I live. I live in a very dry spot this year. We have not received hardly any snow whatsoever. The only thing we're getting is sunlight and a lot of blowing cold wind. That's about it. So this has not been good for our gardens because it is already February and everybody is out there trying to prepare their gardens for spring planting. And as long as it remains dry like this, we are going to have to irrigate. I even right now go out in my garden, even though there's nothing really growing, but I do irrigate my garden in the winter time when it's this dry because I want to improve my soils and keep the ground a little bit wet. So the few fruit trees that I have growing uh, can get their water for their day. Now, the very first thing about planning your garden for 2026 is you want to create a layout to where you can envision your garden on a piece of paper. Take a piece of paper and lay out your garden where you're going to be planting what this year, where you're going to making improvements on, what didn't work last year, how to solve last year's problems by creating a new goal, a new project to where you can improve your layout on your garden. Um, this In February, we often start picking out our seeds and ordering our seeds from seed catalogs. Go ahead and do that. Look to increase your yieldage uh, by preparing your soil and making it a little bit richer than it was last year. Nebraska soil is notorious for being bad. It lacks a lot of nutrients. It's mostly sandy soil. So you constantly are in a battle of updating your soils and trying to enrich your soils with new compost. Create your compost pile because you will definitely need one to enrich your soils because you don't want to get into the habit of having to buy compost in a store because as you know, one little bag of compost in a store can cost you $8, $9, $10, $12. And that's ridiculous. Who has that kind of money to throw away for compost? Create your own compost throughout the year. Create your own fertilizer by getting vegetation and soaking it in water And of course, it will degrade in the water and create a very fertile fertilizer. Uh, Great ideas out there that I have learned over the years. Deciding what to grow and how much of it you want to grow is also important. Uh, if a plant that you grew last year didn't work out, well, try a different type of plant in the same species to where that can tolerate the whole cold and the heat of Nebraska weather, or any kind of special needs you might have in whichever state you're living in. If you're living further north, you need more cold hardy plants. If you live in the south, you can pretty much grow anything. Uh, uh, Nebraska's kind of in the middle there, so I get a little bit of cold and I get a little bit of heat, a combination of both throughout the year. Deciding which varieties to grow, which varieties of potatoes or green beans, what works best here in my climate. It's kind of a you have to kind of learn through making mistakes and learning from your mistakes and moving on to a better variety, a cold hardy variety of tomato, for instance, here in Nebraska, or cold hardy uh, vine plant of some kind. If you're growing green beans and you want to, I have a limited amount of space in my garden, so I do a lot of vertical gardening where the plants grow up and I can harvest them that way. Construction of special trellises because of your green beans and your cucumbers. You want to have a strong support system for them to climb up on so you won't have any problems harvesting them, because if they grow on the ground, they'll rot. Uh, so always create some kind of trellis system in your garden for your tomatoes and cucumbers and green beans. I'm going to be adding a feature to my garden this year, and that feature is uh, growing a lot more in a lot smaller space, uh, including my herbs. I want to create more herbs in my garden. Herbs can do two things. They can improve your soil. They can give you the herbs for your cooking, and they can protect your other plants from pests, because a lot of herbs like sage and like basil, or lavender, uh, a lot of the bugs do not like them, and they will stay away from your plants if you plant any of them near cucumbers or anything near a tomato plant, or carrots, beets, whatever you're planting. Put a few herbs mixed in with it so they will protect your plants also. It's called companion planting, herbs with vegetables, to keep the pests away, because pests have always been a problem in a gardener. Over the years, I've had so many pest problems, and each state is different. Some states, let me get a drink here. I got a herbal tea this morning. Some states, um, you can grow, like if you have a lot of aphids or a lot of uh, the wormy type vegetation that comes out. What are they called? They're called snails. Um, these snails will destroy your garden if you don't catch them early. Uh, that's why I always recommend that you create a bird feeder and a feeding place in your garden for birds, because you want to attract birds. You want to attract a lot of flowers, because a lot of different variety of flowers, like marigolds, for instance, they will stop those pests from coming in, because there's not too many bugs that like marigolds. When you plant a marigold, you will notice no bugs will go near them. There's very few bugs. So one bug that I have seen that goes near marigolds is bees, and that's not going to hurt anything, because bees don't care. They get their nectar wherever they can. But as far as other bugs, snails, aphids, grasshoppers, you know, anything that will eat your plant, as a food supply, eat it up, will be deterred from it. Even deer do not like marigolds. The deers won't touch a marigold. Uh, it's just Mother Goddess protecting your garden, and you have to learn the knowledge. You have to get the wisdom, like I have over the many eons that I have lived and raised a garden each year. There has not been a year in my life, except when I was small, but once I got to be 7, 8 years old, because I grew up on a farm, uh, we learned all of these tricks and trades and stuff to do to increase your yield in your garden. Because gardens were a must back in the 50s when I grew up. They were a must. They were a lifeline back in the 50s because everybody couldn't afford to go to the grocery store and spend huge amounts of money like we do now. Uh, in my day, life was so much simpler, and we really need to get back to some of those wisdoms that our grandparents taught us. Uh, I watched my grandmother many times doing canning, uh, canning anything from tomatoes to cucumbers for pickles, and sausage from when we ended up butchering on a farm. They would put sausage in the containers and grind it up and make patties out of it and put the patties in the containers of glass and seal them up and boil them for 15 or 20 minutes, and so the jar would seal. And I have watched my parents grew up that way. My parents have taught me that, and now I'm handing that wisdom over to you, my audience, because I've already taught my children how to do it. They all know how to can, and they all do can certain types of vegetables from the garden. Every year we always can something to put away for the winter. Flowers are a great way to keep the pests away. You can grow different varieties of flowers, like nasturtiums. They will keep the aphids away because they can't stand that flower. Marigolds, I'm going to plant several marigolds in my garden this year just to keep those doggone aphids away and off of my lettuce, and keep the I'm going to make it a habitat for birds. I'm going to put a bird feeder in, a water feature of some kind, where a little dish of water, so the birds can have fresh water every day. Because I'm going to be there, watering my gardens and irrigating my gardens anyway. So I might as well just put some water out for the wildlife, birds. Uh, so they can drink water and come to the garden. And while they're doing that, they'll see grasshoppers and uh, aphids and all kinds of bugs floating around. And guess what? They love that. They will eat them up until there's nothing left in your garden. Then they will not touch your vegetables. They will not destroy your vegetables. They will not do any damage, because a vegetable to a bird is like a forest. They leave it alone. Great advice. Now, don't forget about your pollinators, your butterflies, your bees. Make it an environment that the bees can come in and drink out water in your garden, where they can plant a lot of flowers that are pollinate, or, where bees will pollinate your other cucumbers and your tomatoes and whatever flower needs pollinating. Bees will do that. So grow a lot of flowers that will attract butterflies, attract bees. You know, it's just great advice. I hope you've learned a lot about this. Now, I'm going to recommend this month. I'm going to recommend 2 books for good reading. And the first book I'm going to recommend, and I've done this recommendation before, but I always like to, because I love this author. Her name is Eileen Holland, and she wrote a book, The Wicca Handbook. If you want to know anything about Wicca and what it is, now this is the book to have, because this will give you a taste of what living a Wicca life in a very pagan lifestyle is all about. It's a great read. It's a powerful, powerful read because it will give you an insight into my life and the life of many millions of pagans around the world. The second book, which I love, it's the author in this book is Juliet. You might not have heard of her. Is Juliet Wood. Okay, and it's an illustrated book. It has lots of pictures in it, as you can see it, lots of pictures, and it's called The Celtic Book of the Living and the Dying. And this is what it looks like. It's about Celtic culture back uh, to 2,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, when the Celtics were in the northern part of England and Scotland and Ireland, and eventually the Celtics came down into Europe and intermingled and is part of our culture. Celtic culture is part of our pagan culture. It's a great read. It's greatly illustrated, and it's by Juliet Wood. Look it up, and you'll be able to tell all about the books that she has written. This is one of my favorite right here. So I hope everybody out there is doing good. I've had a wonderful last week. It's been very spiritual. I was gone a couple of days because I needed the time away so I could create a little spiritual retreat for myself. So for me to do that, I had to get away for a couple of days away from the internet. And that's why you didn't see me post for 3, 4 days. But now I'm back and I am ready and meditated and I'm rejuvenated and I'm ready to go again because I am so happy that you have found my channel. And it just is so remarkable to me how my channel is growing. In the last 2 months, my channel has picked up, and I'm growing 2 times faster than I did the month before, which is so special to me because people are starting to like the message that I talk about, the different subject matters, and I am just happy. I welcome everybody of all faiths. You don't have to be pagan to watch my channel because most of my subject matters can be applied to anybody's life, whether you're a Roman Catholic, whether you're Protestant, whether you're a Muslim. It doesn't make any difference. Being a good person and living a good and happy and wholesome life is what it's all about. Living a very spiritual life is great also because you cannot be living a wholesome life without your spiritual life going hand in hand. Uh, Now, the current events, nothing really much has been happening. I try to strive to stay away from the political arena. Today, of course, is the Super Bowl, and I'm not really much of a sports fan, but I hope it goes well. The Winter Olympics are happening, and those are really interesting. I love watching the skating and stuff. Uh, and but other than that, February is turning out to be a very mixed month in the astrology realm. Of course, we have left the age of Pisces and we moved into the age of Aquarius, which is a time of change. It's a big time of transition, a time that when we're leaving the old world and moving on to the new world. And for those that have transitioned up into the higher level, like myself, I welcome any new changes that are happening. And these changes that are coming in the middle of the year, say June and July, uh, they're going to be so good for people. They're going to be changes, big changes coming to make our lives better. So keep the faith. Hold on to that light and that special spark inside your spirit because it is going to get better. I bless everybody. Blessings to everybody out there. If you've noticed some of my comments in the comment section, I always end by putting a comment down and saying, "Blessed be," or "Bless your household," or "Bless you with good health." That's just the way my nature is. I care for you. I'm an empath, and I feel your pain that you have gone through and are continually going through. And I tell you this right now from the bottom of my heart, it's going to get better. And guess what? It's the end of my video. So I'm going to say bye-bye for now. Blessed be. See you next time. Bye-bye.